So here we are, so AAC on the iPad. So let's get started. So firstly, I would just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land. We'd like to pay our respects to the elders, both past, present and emerging, and we extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may also be present here today. So I'm speaking to you from the Whadjuk Noongar people today. So today's webinar, we will just give you a bit of an overview of our team at Link Assistive, who we are and what we do. We'll talk about features of an iPad, what we have in the Link Assistive range in terms of our cases and our iPad speech case bundles. We'll also talk about why we might add a case to an iPad for AAC. We'll also talk about when they might not be suitable and what are some alternatives, and we'll provide you with some resources along the way. So the slides for today's webinar are in the chat, as well as a helpful comparison chart which shows you differences between devices. So who we are a supplier of assistive technologies, so range of communication devices and assistive technologies for computer access, controlling environments. We have a range of software and mounting options as well. We're also a supplier of sensory and interactive technologies. We have, as I said, a clinical team across Australia. So we are all speeches, assistive technology consultants, except for Jade, who is our in-house OT. So we offer support in our state. So you may have chatted to some of our team before, or they may be new to you. And then we have our big team in Adelaide in our head office, who are always behind the scenes, busily making everything happen as well. So who do we work with? We work with you as the therapist to support you to understand the range of products we have that might be suitable for your clients. So we can provide support around a range of different options. So advice and information on our products, support throughout trialling devices. We provide trials of our devices so we can support you along the way with exploring those options for trial, as well as using them throughout your trial. Product demonstrations, as well as training workshops. Some may be free or these may be paid. So we do a range of different things. So let's look at features of an iPad. So we know that iPads are used a lot by many different people, and they're used in a range of different environments, and they're often readily available. They're quite portable, and there are a range of communication apps, as you would know, that are available on iPads. They can be a cost-effective option to use as an AAC system. There's also a range of different accessibility features within the iOS software, as well as iPads can be used for different purposes. So they can be used for communication through a communication app, but they might be used for recreation or surfing the internet, or emailing using Facebook Messenger. It can be used for a range of different things, and it can be operated in a variety of different ways. So it might be via direct touch, it might be via an alternative access solution. So iPads can be a really nice option for people to use as a communication device. And there can be a lot of features that a person requires in a communication device that can be met with an iPad. But I guess when we're doing a really comprehensive assessment and overview and considering options for communication devices, there are a range of different features that we may need to consider. And maybe an iPad isn't going to meet those, or is there a better way that an iPad can meet a feature that the client needs? So, does the client need to be heard in a really busy environment that's quite noisy, or does the client need to access their communication device, whilst in their wheelchair or in their stroller, or do they need to be able to carry it around with them on their shoulder or pop it in their bag? So I guess when we're thinking about iPads and whether they're going to be a suitable option for a communication device, we can look at the I guess features that may need to be considered and what are the features that are important to that client. So there may be a way that we can, I guess, optimize an iPad. And the way we might do that is through maybe adding a case or you know, another communication app. So Link Assistive provides lots of different options that we can add to an iPad that can, I guess, make it and turn it into a really powerful communication device. So we've got cases, so the Tobii Dynavox speech case. We've got the Reha adapter, which is another case, and we've got speech case bundles. So they're the speech case with an iPad, with your communication app that you choose, and also comes with Link Assistive Care, which is some additional support around technical support and coverage for damage and repair, as well as support around initially getting set up. We've also got some accessories that you might add to the iPad and the speech case. That might be a key guard, which you see down here, which can support with accessing the device, as well as some alternative access solutions like switches or a joystick when touch might not be accessible for your client. And we've also got some mounting solutions, so we can you know, make sure that that device and that speech case is positioned really securely so it can be accessed. We've got a range of different apps available in the speech case bundle. So TD Snap, TD Talk, Lamp Words for Life, Touch Chat, Proloquo, Proloquo to Go, Proloquo for Text, SimPod, Grid for iPad, Pod for Grid. So lots of different options to add to the speech case bundle for your client, depending on their language and communication needs. We are a supplier of Tobii Dynavox products and software, so we can provide more specialist support and knowledge around TD Snap. And TD Snap has a range of different page sets or vocabularies that are available. So we do have other apps, as we discussed, available, but we can provide some support and knowledge specifically around TD Snap throughout your process of exploring options and trialling. So I mentioned Link Assistive Care before, and I just wanted to touch on what exactly that means. So that's warranty and accidental hardware coverage for your Link Assistive speech bundle or speech case for 2 years. 2 incidents of accidental damage protection across that 2-year period, a manufacturer's warranty, 1-hour remote clinical support where one of your clinical team can video call and support you with getting set up with the device and getting it ready for your client, as well as 2 years of technical support. Our tech team are great. They're always very helpful when things might not be going to plan with the device. So that's really helpful as well. So in the chat, Stacey's posted the comparison chart. Stacey's my colleague, by the way, in the background here. And so that just outlines each of the devices available and more so the specifics and differences between them. So that's there as well for you to have a look at as we go through the different options. As well as if you've got any questions, do feel free to pop them in the chat as well. So we're going to have a look at some of the different options. So we've got the speech case 10.2. So this is a case that goes around an iPad. So an iPad 10.2, 7th, 8th or 9th generation. It, I guess, adds durability to the device in a silicon, I guess, casing, and it's got these integrated speakers that are connected via Bluetooth, which amplify the sound. So it's going to make, I guess, the voice output louder, which can be really helpful in those busy environments. It's got a handle, as you can see, a kickstand as well for good positioning, and a carry strap as well. So if you're going to be carrying it around. And you can also add a mounting plate to the speech case as well, which means you can add it can connect to a mounting system. That might be a mounting system on a wheelchair or a stroller or on a table stand. And then it kind of then provides you with a really nice, quite powerful communication device. So I've listed the costs there as well. And then you can have the speech case just as a standalone item if you've already got an iPad, or you can purchase that as a bundle where you can have the speech case, the iPad, and the chosen communication app. So that's for 10.2. There's also the mini version, so a speech case for the iPad mini. Again, that can be just the speech case as a standalone item, or it can be the bundle, speech case bundle, which again includes your speech case, iPad, and the app, as well as our care program. Again, it's quite rugged. It's got that long 8-hour battery life, the integrated speakers, the kickstand, carry strap, and the handle is kind of tucked underneath the top of the speakers. And they've got the option to add a mounting plate as well. What the speech case mini doesn't have that the speech case 10.2 has is switch ports. So in the side of the device, you can connect switches on the iPad speech case 10.2, but on the mini, there's no switch ports, but if you did want to use a switch with it, you could use a Bluetooth switch. Another option is the readapter. This is another case that can be added to an iPad, made by a different manufacturer, Readapt. It is available for iPad 10.2 and the iPad 10.9. It also has the switch ports. It's got an integrated speaker, a handle, as well as the kickstand and a strap that can be added. And you can also add the keyguards as well. So the speech case amplifies the sound, adds durability, but it's only available for the iPad 10.2 and the iPad mini. If a feature that your client requires is a larger device or a larger screen size, there is the option of the iPad Pro bundle. So that's the iPad Pro, where you can again choose the communication app required, and it comes in a different case, which doesn't have the speakers, but it adds durability and it can be mounted as well. So it means that it can be made accessible and positioned nice and safely. I guess with a larger screen size, it may also lean towards becoming more of a device that you might use for alternative access methods. So there is ways in which an iPad can be operated when maybe touch is not accessible for your client. So maybe the fine motor control doesn't allow them to accurately touch the screen, and adding a keyguard hasn't been able to, I guess, help that. So you could use an alternative access solution such as a switch or a joystick or a head pointer like this lady is wearing, which means that the iPad can be operated in another way. So that's a nice option as well. And if you're going to add those solutions, you just need to think about how it's going to connect to the iPad or the case as well. So do you need an interface or an adapter? That method, access method, the access method solution can connect to, or can you plug directly into the case through the switch ports if you're using a switch? And that's where your clinical team can help you to identify what you might need. But we do have access to all of those products within our range as well. And it's just good to know that even if we can't operate a device by touch, there are other ways out there, and that would involve, you know, working alongside your client and maybe their wider therapy team around how they might operate a device if touch is more challenging for them. So we can think about, you know, why should we add, you know, a case to an iPad? There are obviously, you can purchase lots of cases out there and there's lots available, but why add something like the speech case or the readapter? I guess it's around about thinking about your client's goals and what are they, what's important to them, where do they communicate, what's their environment look like, who are the people they communicate with, can they be heard, can they access the device when they need to, can they carry it around, do they need something more durable? So when we're thinking about why add a case, we could think about, you know, we've got the option to add a key guard if we need that for access. We can add a mounting plate easily, which means it can be safely mounted to a wheelchair mount or a mount for the stroller or a table stand. It's also got, you know, a kickstand inbuilt, so we could position it on a tray or a table. It's got the added durability with the silicone case, so it's going to be more protected over time. It also makes it look like it looks different to an iPad, so it looks more like maybe a dedicated communication device. So that can be helpful as well. Maybe if you're in a school, it may be seen as an iPad, but with a case, it's seen as something different. It's seen as that person's talker or their communication device. Likewise, if you're out in the community, it might be seen as an iPad with an app on it for communication, but with a speech case on it, it looks more like a dedicated device. It's also got the inbuilt switch ports if you're using it for switch access. So that takes away the need to add another accessory. And what's also nice is that the speech case and the speech case bundles come with Link Assistive Care. So you've got coverage for repairs and damage for 2 years, coverage for accidental damage as well. You've got that ongoing technical support, which can be really helpful, as well as that initial support around getting the device set up with your client as well. So they might be some reasons why it's helpful and needed and for a client to have a speech case added to an iPad for their dedicated communication device. So we know that when we're prescribing communication devices, we obviously need to trial to see if it's going to be suitable or not. In terms of trialing, you can use your clinic iPads to trial communication apps during your therapy sessions. You can also use the MyToby Dynavox Professionals account, which gives you access to TD Snap on your iPad or on your computer. So that can be really helpful when you're trialing the different page sets for your client, when you're wanting to customize the software for them prior to trialing it. It's a really nice assessment tool to have within your toolbox when you're working out and assessing for what communication app is going to be most suitable for them in terms of their language and what they're communicating about. So that's available for TD Snap, the free license, and pop the link here where you can sign up for that. If you're wanting to trial other communication apps on a clinic iPad or the family's iPad, if they've got one, there may be other trials out there that you might be able to find for those apps. In terms of trialing the speech case for trialing hardware, so if you want to see whether, is it light enough for your client, can they carry it, do they like it, is it suitable for them, that is something you can discuss with your assistive technology consultant in your state to talk about some options for that. So it's not a part of our dedicated loans pool, devices that are available in our loans pool, but you may be able to talk through some options with your assistive technology consultant in your state. So it's also important to consider that iPads might not always be the best option for a client in terms of, they might not provide enough durability for the environments that your client is in. They don't provide dust or water resistance. Maybe the battery life is not long enough, or maybe that device is not preferred by your client. We know there's been some really nice research around device abandonment, and an important feature is that preference that the client's preference is considered. So maybe it's that they don't preference an iPad. So also important to know that not always adding a speech case to the iPad, even though it might make it a more powerful device, it might not be powerful enough, or it might not meet all the features that are important to that client. So we do have some, options that are available for when an iPad might not be suitable. So we've got the TD-I110, which is a more durable and sturdy device. It's got really strong Gorilla Glass, which is going to be helpful for people who might be out in busy environments, or it might be at risk of being dropped, or being, in rough environments where there's a bit more rough and tumble. It's got it's water and dust resistant. It's got longer battery life. It's got those switch ports added in. You can still add keyguards and a mounting plate if that's important in terms of positioning. And it's got some added, advantages around the Link Assistive Care Plus. So there's a little bit more, 3 years tech support versus 2. So if your client's, in need of more support, that might be helpful as well as there's unlimited accidental damage as well. So if the device is at risk of being thrown or bumped, that might be an important feature to consider. So if an iPad's not the right fit, there may be another option out there within the Link Assistive product range, but also other devices out there as well. We've also got some other touch accessible options too. So the TD-I110 is similar in terms of screen size, and but if you're requiring another touch accessible option, maybe a bigger screen size, or a different operating system such as Windows versus Apple, there are other options within the Link Assistive range, such as the Surface Pro Speech Bundle, which is a Surface Pro in a case with TD Snap software. And there's also the iSeries Touch, which is another dedicated communication device as well that can be touch accessible. You may have seen it around as a device that can be accessed by eye control, but it can also be just a touch device too without the eye control. So there are some other options out there. So I guess, when you're thinking about the different speech cases that are available, the different communication apps, or when a speech case, an iPad might not be appropriate and there's other devices that could be considered, it's always important to think about what are the features that your client requires and what device meets those features. Sometimes a device might not meet all of the features, and or it might meet some of them and not others, and it's around, I guess, prioritizing what's most important. So you might have a device for, a 3-year-old who needs something that they can carry. They might need something lighter versus someone who is out and about lots. They might live out in the countryside and need something that's a bit more durable. So maybe another device like the i110 is going to be more suitable. Or they might need something with a larger screen. So the SpeechCase 10.2 might be better versus the SpeechCase Mini. So it's always important to look at your client, look at what do they need to communicate about, where are they communicating, what are the features they require. So we've got also on our website, there's a range of recorded webinars and also Tobii Dynavox resources that can be helpful if you're looking for additional information in terms of specific information around assessment and trialling, as well as the different software available and hardware as well. And within the Tobii Dynavox resources, there's also instructions on how to get that professional license for TD Snap, which you might then put onto your iPad for trialling as well. We can, through our website, you can request a quote for products online. So if you are wanting to request a SpeechCase for your client, you can get quotes for those online. And we are always here to help. So if you've got any questions or you want to know more specifics around a certain product or a certain SpeechCase, please do get in contact with us. We are more than happy to talk about your clients and what might meet their needs in terms of our products.